What's up? I'm JB Taylor. This is Walk Off Sports Talk. This is my new little episode called Free Agent Hopes. Obviously, free agency isn't until I think the deadline is August 2nd. So this is a little bit early. Um, but I wanted to go ahead and just give my hopes and kind of my dreams because right now the team's slumping and I really think that we could use it. Um, it's time to kind of look ahead a little bit, look forward. So let's go ahead and get going. First, who do I want moved? Well, we got a few guys. We'll start with Caleb Smith. As a starter, he's been atrocious, absolutely atrocious. That one loss, he got his ERA up to I think 15.30, something like that. He's managed to drop it all the way down through long relief, appearances out of the bullpen to a respectable-ish 5.11. It's well, I say respectable-ish. It's not a great ERA, but when you consider where he started to where he is now, it is pretty respectable. There are teams that could use bullpen help, and he's the perfect guy to move because he's not a long-term piece. He just isn't. He's 30 years old. He was drafted in 2013, so he's the guy to move. Team like the Yankees could use him. They originally drafted him in 2013, so he'd be going home in a sense. A team like the Dodgers could use him out of the bullpen. A team like the Braves, they have a bit of a dodgy bullpen. I don't really have any thoughts of who I'd like to get back in return for him. If it's the Yankees, Connor Falifa, the shortstop for them, who's a pretty solid player. We could use his help. Ronald Perdomo hasn't exactly been tremendously fantastic for us. He started out okay, then he just kind of plummeted. So, yeah. And if it's the Braves, I wouldn't mind seeing us get maybe some prospects. Maybe some not overwhelmingly great prospects, but some decent prospects and some cash in return. That seems like the kind of deal he would go for, even though he's really good. I think it would be hard to get. I think it's Isaiah Conner-Falefa. I think it's his full name. I'd love to get him though. On to the next player, Luke Weaver. Let's get him the hell out of town. I honestly don't give two shits if they give us a bag of Cheetos for him. Let's just get him gone. Next player, David Peralta. He's 34 years old. I believe he turns 35 a couple of weeks after the trade deadline. So it's the right time to move him. It's a very similar situation to Eduardo Escobar being moved. He got his first All-Star nod, then we shipped him out of town. Peralta's a great guy, great player. Love the way he's brought to the team. I'll miss him, much like I miss Eduardo. But he's not in the long-term plans. We have Corbin Carroll, Jordan Lawler, Stone Garrett. We have guys that can come up and take his place. Who he'd go to? The Yankees are looking for outfield help. They could use him. I think he'd do great in New York. The Blue Jays could probably use him. What we would get in return, probably not a whole lot. Probably not a whole bunch. I would be upset if we just got cash considerations and or prospects. I would like to get a guy that could come in and help us, maybe a bullpen player. Yeah. If we're going to move Peralta, let's at least get some bullpen depth because we're using the hell out of them this year, and it's just at some point, and I think it's already starting to happen. They're just going to crumble. That's a lot of strain for the bullpen. We need bullpen help, and yeah, trading Caleb Smith will help because we're going to get a fresh arm in with the Peralta trade, the hypothetical, the hopeful Peralta trade. On to the next. Joe Mantiply is a dude who struggled. He was hurt. He underperformed. Got sent down. Got called up. Now he's hit his stride, and he's an absolute boss. He's 1-1. He has a 1.24 ERA. There was a very long stretch where that ERA was like 0.34. So the dude's a stud. But he's 31 years old, and he's not going to be in our long-term plans. A guy as good as him, I want a position player back. 100%. I will be very upset if we don't get someone in return for him. Who that could be, I don't know. The trade deadline is far away. This is just the first one. There will be another video where I talk more. Once things start to gel, things start to get a little clearer, I'll do another one and share this list up. But I just know that these are the guys that we're looking to trade. And I'm hopeful that we do because they're older and we need to bring in younger guys. I wouldn't mind guys in their mid to late 20s or even late 20s because we're a very young team and we will need that veteran presence, but we'll also want to compete. So I don't know. I think if we trade Mantiply, we really, really need to get maybe a backup catcher. I know we have Herrera, but he's young. Varsho's better in the outfield, and Carson Kelly's just okay behind the plate. I wouldn't mind seeing a backup catcher for Mantiply. On to next. Ian Kennedy. This name has been bandied about a lot. He's 37 years old. He has a 3-4 record, 3.62 ERA. He was drafted in 2006 by the Yankees. He's been around a bit. I don't see us getting a whole lot for him. Kennedy's not exactly the sort to dominate out of the bullpen. He's kind of we'll see what we get when he starts throwing. I could see him going for cash considerations and maybe a prospect. Next, Madison Bumgarner, 3-8 record. Had his best outing. His last time up, I think he went to the 90s in terms of pitch count. Didn't get any run support. Yeah, he's past his prime. He's washed. I don't expect us to get a whole hell of a lot for him. Maybe a veteran bullpen presence, potentially a veteran fielder, and some cash. Players I want now. We need help behind the plate, and Wilson Contreras is on the trade block. We have the pieces to move for him. I'd be willing to give up a prospect because we have so many. We have Jordan Lawler, Corbin Carroll, Stone Garrett. We have a lot of pitching prospects. We have a lot of Jordan Luplow, Jake McCarthy. We have a lot of guys that we can give up. We can toss some cash in there as well, and we'll have a stud behind the plate. We'll have a guy that can hit the ball. He is 30, so it's kind of going against the grain a little bit, but we can always play him at first. We can always play him at DH. It's just, I don't know. Because of his age, it is kind of a why would you do it? But it would make me feel better for the short term because we're getting rid of some of the older guys. It's okay to bring in a guy, at least one or two that's 30, because I do want the team to compete. I don't want to just be chock full of young guys and then not do shit. So let's have one or two guys that are in their 30s and let's kick some ass. And Contreras is a guy that can help. Another guy that I want, Josh Bell out of Washington. He's 29 years old. He could play first. He could play DH. He could be, despite being 29, it's a deceptive 29. He has a lot in him. He could play for a very, very long time. He's just not hitting his prime. His 11 home runs, 46 RBIs, 909 OPS, 319 batting average. We have Christian Walker, but Josh Bell can play DH, and he can spell Christian Walker at first. it'll give us a solid guy at DH. We've seen all sorts. We've seen Varsho at DH. We've seen Christian Walker at DH, but we've seen a lot of Jordan Luplow. And we've seen guys that wouldn't normally be in the DH playing DH. And if we get Josh Bell, that's a pretty damn good DH guy right there. So that's my hopes and dreams. It's very short, very quick little video. I see us moving a lot of pieces. I think we're big sellers. I just don't think we're going to get a whole hell of a lot back because our guys are older and they are some of them are kind of washed and some of them are kind of just okay, good. I wouldn't mind seeing us get Connor Felifa from the Yankees. I would love to see Josh Bell. I would love to see Wilson Contreras. Will these things happen? Probably not. I imagine we'll free up a lot of cap, and we'll bring in some guys that we probably never heard of, and we, being fans, have never heard of. I'm hopeful that we get somebody that we can kind of hang our hat on and kind of be proud of getting. I just don't know if it'll happen. But thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate you. Look for another of these videos probably next week when things get a little bit clearer. And then we'll try and do it once a week until the trade deadline is coming. Then I'll have a trade deadline special. All the news that I'm getting, all the names that I'm hearing, who's going to be out in the free agents, who's going to be out in the trade market for every team, including ours. I'll have a big breakdown. I'll probably even go live for it. Baseball's not like basketball to where news breaks. It has happened, but it's not something that I trust going live for because it's not as dynamic as the NBA. So what I'll do is I'll probably just make an hour-long video and break it up into about 4 videos, maybe 5 or 6, because who knows the attention span of people watching, right? People have shit to do also. So, yeah. So be on the lookout for that. There's going to be a lot of draft specials, I keep wanting to say drafts, a lot of free agent specials. I might even do a draft special because we have our eye on quite a few young studs, and we have one hell of a prospect pool to add to. So maybe I'll do that as well. Anyway, peace out.